All right, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Look, we're focused on the future now. What happened last Sunday, that's tough, but listen, still a winning football team, still 4-3, a lot of football in front of you. Exciting news for Chicago. Looks like they're heading out to potentially make a big trade that I think a lot of you Bears fans will really appreciate. But first, I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, this Chicago squad has an opportunity this weekend to move to 5-3 and stay in a great position to potentially make the playoffs in a brutal NFC North. This team, the trend is their friend. They're playing better football. They've got a lot of young talent, even some quality veterans too. But there's one guy on this team that I know you Bears fans are not big fans of, at least that's what I see on social media, and that is guard Nate Davis. Fortunately for you guys, it looks like the Bears are actually going to trade Nate Davis, potentially get something in return for the disgruntled guard. Let's pull up this latest report, courtesy of Sporting News. Bears guard Nate Davis, who was a starter to begin the season, has been left on the bench since week 3, including not being dressed for either of the last 2 games. Many have speculated that Davis could be on his way out of Chicago via a trade. The Bears signed the former Titan to a 3-year, $30 million contract in March 2023. He was supposed to be a linchpin along Chicago's offensive line, but the Bears are apparently ready to move on, Tyler Dragon of USA Today said. There are also multiple different teams that are reportedly interested in this Bears guard. There's been a team like the Steelers have been thrown around. There's a lot of interest in Nate Davis, which I think is interesting to a lot of us that have watched one snap of Nate Davis. But hey, if the Bears have an opportunity to get rid of him for something in return, they should definitely jump on that. And Ryan Poles, hey, he's the deal maker, right? Get it done. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. But first, Bears fans, in the comment section below, obviously heading into a game this weekend, a chance to bounce back. I think this is going to be an angry Bears team, and they're going to deliver a message this upcoming weekend. Let us know your prediction, final score. How are the Bears going to perform this weekend? Want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this latest Bears news?
Yeah, Nick, I think this was a really good move for the Bears. Obviously, you talked about it. A lot of Bears fans not loving Nate Davis right now. It's a contract they'd really like to get out from underneath. But as you said, some teams have expressed interest in picking up a guy like Davis. And I think if you look, he has played 142 snaps this season. He did a lot of good stuff so far. But I think that this guy, there is some little highlights in his game that you could pitch to other teams. Specifically, you look at his pass blocking grade this year, been pretty okay. 69.2 overall grade for the pass blocking department. Something that is, I think very desirable for teams. This is a guy who also just is really, I don't know what happened when he came to the Bears before he was at the Bears. If you look at what he was putting on paper, he was like mid 70s for 3 years running. Comes over to Chicago last year, the team not so great. Then this year, he really hasn't played a whole lot. So I think if you're another team, I can see where the interest comes from. He had 3 back-to-back really solid years. You can see the highlights in the pass blocking grade from this year. Last year, you understand, Bears really weren't the best team. Ninth overall pick, that's not cutting it. This year, he hasn't played a whole lot. So there's a lot of mystique. There's a lot of interest in a guy like Nate Davis. So I think the Bears can hopefully get Davis off their books, move him on to another team. I think that would be a really good move for this team going forward. Because quite frankly, everyone they do have right now is doing pretty okay. You look across the offensive line, you look at the PFF grades, a lot of green, a lot of 65 plus grades on this offensive line. So I think overall where the Bears are at offensive line wise, they're feeling pretty good. So if you can get something for a guy like Nate Davis, who unfortunately didn't work out, I think this would be the best move for the Bears going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up a great point about Nate Davis. I know Bears fans are like, this guy stinks, and he has with the Bears. For whatever reason, it just hasn't worked out. But earlier in his career, he was a good player, especially in the run blocking game. Like you mentioned, multiple seasons grading out well above 70. That's why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a very interesting fit. I think a team like Pittsburgh could be tempted because they have a lot of injuries at the guard position, interior offensive line, center as well for Pittsburgh. And the Steelers right now are sitting at 6-2. And Mike Tomlin, he's looking for a playoff win. The Steelers have not won a playoff game since 2016. Does Ryan Poles catch a desperate Pittsburgh team looking to upgrade the offensive line? This is what Poles does, I feel like. I feel like he looks at desperate teams, looking at you, Carolina Panthers, and takes advantage of those opportunities to get crazy good deals for his team. I don't see how he doesn't pull something off like this with Nate Davis. Now, look, I'm not saying they're going to get a second or third round pick, but to get something in return, I think that's huge because right now, according to overthecap.com, this season, Nate Davis is going to count against the Bears cap 11.3 million. Next year, he's slated to count against 11.5. His valuation, what over the cap, based on his performance, thinks Nate Davis is worth, or what he should count against the cap, is $900,000, right? That's 11 times more than actually his salary. 11, I'm sorry, his salary cap hit is 11 times more than his valuation. As good as the Bears have been under polls with the moves they made to the salary cap, this Nate Davis situation is a massive black eye. Now's the time to move off of him. And look, if you get a desperate team looking at you, Pittsburgh, maybe they get an opportunity to get like a fourth, fifth round, sixth round pick in return. I'm looking at Ryan Poles to make this move. I think he gets it done. Probably after these weekends games on Sundays, the Bears obviously want to come back with a big win. I think a Steelers team out on a bye, maybe they're aggressive, and I think the Bears with Ryan Poles, I think they get this deal done.